We are back after a week off, and we have the curse of the Omega block. When will the curse be broken? And will it be replaced by another curse, the curse of the onshore flow? Well, that's what spring is. It's a season full of curses. But we'll keep the language clean here tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which you can support if you like. If you shop on Amazon, use our referral link that's pinned to the top of the chat board. It's also on the description to this podcast. Just search for what you want, shop, pay, and Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin for sending you there. It doesn't cost you one extra cent. And we appreciate those of you who have shopped on Amazon because it keeps the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast ad free. At least the live show is kept ad free. That may not be the case if you watch it on replay. So it's been, going into it, I couldn't wait for the week to start, and I knew, as it always happens, it just goes by quickly. And here we are. It's wonderful to see so many of the regulars on the chat board back here with us on this Monday night, the 5th of May. That's probably one of the, we had that one other stretch back around Christmas time where we took a bunch of days off, but this one went like almost 10 days. That's about as long as we've ever not done a Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which we usually do Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m.
And we're back now for the next several days. It looks like, Joe, we're finding ourselves kicking off with an Omega block, as you just mentioned at the beginning of the program tonight. And we've had rain here, where I am, here in Putnam County, New York. We're going to see more rain tonight. We're going to see rain and showers tomorrow, and maybe even a gusty thunderstorm. Things will begin to peter off a bit on Wednesday. Maybe we'll be able to get through most of Thursday dry, but guess what? It looks like Friday is going to be, we're going to finish out the week on a very unpleasant note. In fact, Friday, my goodness, from this vantage point, Joe, you talk about unseasonably cool and damp. Temps in the 50s, a gusty northeasterly breeze, the onshore flow, I guess is what you were referring to, and more rain. But hopefully, got the old fingers crossed here, hopefully we'll be able to have some nice weather for all of the moms out there this coming weekend.
Well, I want to tell you, I was on St. George Island in Florida, and for those of you who don't know where St. George Island is, it's the island that is just south of Apalachicola, right near the western portion of the Florida Big Bend. It's a really nice island. It's all vacation homes, but it's not overly populated. And actually, the beaches were relatively empty, even on the weekends. And Apalachicola, Joe, was really surprising to me. I expected the actual city of Apalachicola to be, not that I thought it was big, but that there would be like a concentrated area where sort of businesses and all that. It is a very, very small town. Very
Really?
small. Yes, I'm
A
shocked.
hamlet.
I mean, the bank in town was a two-story building, and when you look at it from the outside, but then when you look inside, it's really just had very high ceilings. I mean, that really was it. Great weather all week. It didn't rain until Saturday night. It rained a little bit on Saturday, but on Saturday night, which was, I drove back yesterday in the 70s all day. It was not humid really. It was maybe a little humid, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't July, August, September humidity by any stretch. Water temperatures, I would say, were up in the upper 70s. So, the Gulf was actually nice. I caught a few fish. I didn't actually spend a whole lot of time fishing because it gradually got windier as the week went on. So I don't have any patience for that, and I'm also not one. I'm not big on fishing I like fishing in lakes and on rivers. I'm not crazy about fishing off the beach, off the shore. But I caught a few. I caught a stingray.
Oh God,
I
really?
caught- yeah, I mean, it was small. I mean, maybe it was about, I don't know, two and a half from head to the end of the tail. It was about maybe about 3 feet. Um, the
You
actual
got to watch out for
body,
those, though. I mean, like, wasn't that the animal or the fish? What is a stingray? Is it a
yeah,
fish,
that's the
really?
one that killed what's his name.
Yeah, the alligator guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this one was a small one because it didn't have the sharp thing on the top, but it has a very, very sharp barbed tail. So I just knew to sort of to stay away from it. My friend Owen unhooked it for me, and we tossed it back. He had much better fishing than I did. He caught some sea trout and a little shark and a pompano, which was delicious, by the way. Um, we made it that he made it that night, and it was really, really good. I'm not. I ate a lot. I think I ate more seafood last week than I have in the last year, and it was delicious. It really was. So,
Great.
yeah, I definitely would go back again. I may very well go back again next year, but we'll see.
Thank
So,
you.
how do you get?
Thank you to Christopedia. Christopedia, thank you for putting on the chat board. It was Steve Irwin
Irwin, yes.
that got
Uh, so the
got
executive
hit by.
producer, your executive producer Joe, Mrs. Rayo, wants to know how do you get on to St. George's Island by ferry? No, you swim. You swim across the. No, you drive. There's a causeway. Actually, the original causeway was washed away by a hurricane. I don't know what hurricane it was, but it might have been back like 20 or so years ago, and they rebuilt a new causeway. Um, and it was at a hotel. I stayed at a friend of mine rented a house. It's mostly house rentals that are on this island. So it was nice. There was myself. There were four of us, and a great time was had by all. I will put it that way. A great time was had by all. But I recommend it if you like a quiet place with a beach and it's not Atlantic City, it's not Wildwood, it's not Seaside Park. It's
And it's not too humid now at this time of the year, is it?
Yeah, no,
Uh,
it's not at all, not at all. And the high season, it's like mid-season in terms of prices right now, so it wasn't too bad. So there. Okay, yes, we do have an Omega block, and we haven't seen an Omega block in quite a while, so it's probably a good idea if we show everybody what an Omega block looks like. And it's basically two lows. Let me get my little pen here. Um, so it's two lows, and there's a ridge in the middle. And Omega blocks can be wonderful things if you're in the right spot. Like if you're in the plains, you're mostly sunny. You don't have any clouds. It's a gorgeous spring weather. If you're where we are, where we're getting this south to southeast flow, both at surface and aloft, you're getting gloom and doom and waves of rain. I'm just kind of curious. Any breaks of sun at all in the last couple of days?
dimly visible from time to time. So, like even this morning, I was saying to myself, "Gee, the sun is struggling, desperately trying to push on through, but really never made it." And there were, I think, on Saturday there were some breaks in the clouds and a little bit of sunshine from time to time, and even perhaps uh, yesterday there might have been a bit, but really it's more clouds than sun. Certainly, 80 to 90% of the time the clouds have had the upper hand. And again, we've gone through. Yesterday we had about an inch of rain. I don't know exactly how much we've had so far today, but it has come down rather hard at times. And tomorrow, I do believe that the folks over at SPC, and I'm sure we'll show it in a little bit, Joe, has the immediate tri state area in a zone of marginal risk for thunderstorm activity, severe thunderstorm activity. And who knows, maybe by tomorrow morning, the forecasters will change that or upgrade that and include even a slight risk within that small area of a marginal risk for severe weather, especially for tomorrow afternoon and early tomorrow evening.
Right now, tonight, a little bit busy on the watches and warnings map. We actually have a couple of severe thunderstorm watches that are up. Two of them, they extend from northeastern North Carolina northward into northeastern Virginia and Maryland, and a couple of counties in south central Pennsylvania. Also, a severe thunderstorm watch for the eastern portion of Ohio, the middle and southeast coast east on the east coast of Florida, and also for a small area in the coastal bend of Texas, south of Houston and Galveston, but north of Corpus Christi. It's only it's a handful of counties. We do have a large area of flood watches up from southern Mississippi westward into East Texas, and then northward in north central and northwest Texas and back into Oklahoma. There's a tornado watch in southeast New Mexico and in parts of West Texas. We have flood watches now up for the northern Connecticut counties, the central and western Massachusetts counties, and for, I guess we'll call it the middle Hudson Valley. So they decided to throw up a few flood watches up just to your north.
Yes, in fact, I was looking at that. We were just, south of those flood watches obviously were put up by the Albany National Weather Service, and I guess they had to draw a line somewhere as to where the boundary is for potential flooding, and apparently the New York National Weather Service, located in Upton, Long Island, felt that the criteria just wasn't enough to issue a watch. But just north of where I am, I guess you could say north of the I-84 corridor, yeah, there is an advisory or a potential for flood watch in effect. Again, as you mentioned, Joe, for Dutchess County, Ulster County, Sullivan County, and points north of there.
I pulled up the Weather Service office in Denver/Boulder, Colorado, because not in Denver itself, but west of Denver. Now, this is because of the upper low, the western part of that, the low that's on the west side of the U.S. In that Omega block complex that we showed you, in areas that are dealing with the upper low itself, in the mountains, in central Colorado, we have a slew of winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories up. Denver is just outside of that. I just want to see what the temperature is in Denver right now. 57 degrees, and they're actually forecasting showers there through Wednesday. So they're not the only ones that are dealing with gloom and doom as far as the weather is concerned with this Omega block. In the meantime, when we look at the satellite loop tonight, I mean, you can see the two rotations pretty well. The Ohio Valley upper low, when I pulled the loop up last night and then looked at it again this morning and looking at it now, the upper low is virtually in the same place. And this is the problem, because you're getting these, it's like spokes on a bicycle wheel that are rotating around. And as each spoke comes up, you're getting areas of rain, and you can see the lightning strikes that are going on in Northeast Virginia and the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area with the showers and thunderstorms. And that next arm is probably going to come through, if it holds together, is probably going to bring another round of rain northward into New Jersey and points north during the overnight hours.
And you could see again on the satellite loop that swirl located to the south of the Great Lakes, that very large and very slow, underscore that word, slow moving disturbance that is helping to set the stage for the blocking effect that we are seeing right now and that we're into. And unfortunately, Joe, it looks like much of the week will be wet. Again, it was wet yesterday, it was wet today, more wetness coming our way tomorrow. I suspect that we'll still be wet to a degree on Wednesday, although things may peter out and maybe finally end for a while during the afternoon on Wednesday. And who knows, we may even get some decent amounts of sun breaking through by later Wednesday. Thursday doesn't look all that bad. Of the regular weekday, the 5 day week, Monday through Friday, Thursday's probably the best day of the lot, with much of the day dry, some sunshine, especially early in the day, but then more wetness comes our way beginning later on Thursday or Thursday night, and on Friday again. That onshore flow, that's going to make Friday a particularly nasty day, is the fact that we're going to be dealing with a rather gusty, breezy, chilly wind, a raw kind of a day. Temps on Friday may not even get out of the 50s, and add to that more wet weather, more rainy weather. This is not the week, although not much for me to do because I'm uh, going to be getting soon a brand new tractor lawnmower. But even if I were to get it tomorrow delivered, I wouldn't be able to do much with it because, again, just the sheer moisture, the wetness of the grass. And one thing I could say is, with all this wetness, the grass is going to be growing quite a bit over the next week or 10 days. One thing that is, you want to look on the bright side. This all this wet weather is certainly going to go a long way to reducing whatever precipitation deficit we've had from recent weeks and months here. And in fact, we may get back to near normal, or maybe even see a slight surplus in terms of moisture, in terms of rainfall, when this is all over. And that probably will not come until, again, sometime over this upcoming Mother's Day weekend.
And by the way, you can see what's happening too. I'm actually here in North Georgia. I'm right on the edge of this. So I've been in clouds here all day long. And by the way, I just spending a week where the temperatures were in the mid to upper 70s by day and mid 60s by night. I got here yesterday. It was barely, it was in the 50s, barely got to 60. Woke up this morning to it was 42. I mean, it was a bit of a shock, and even today, I mean, we just barely got above 60 with hardly any sun at all. Now it's probably going to be a bit better here in Georgia tomorrow. But as I pointed out, up here in the northern plains and in the western Great Lakes, there's not a cloud to be had. The same for the west coast for the most part until you get down into southernmost California, and you can see the upper low that's out in the west. The rotation is back in Arizona, and it's pulling up tropical moisture through Mexico and from the Gulf, and that's the same principle here with these bicycle spokes going around, where as each spoke comes up and lifts northward, you get these showers and thunderstorms. And here's the radar tonight. Let's look at the east, and it's mostly rain in upstate New York, down through to Connecticut and eastern Long Island. There are some holes in there. There's some heavier rain going on in northeastern Pennsylvania, actually across much of northern Pennsylvania, all the way east to west. Then there's a break, and then you see the severe thunderstorms I mentioned that are moving out of Virginia and over into the Maryland side. Now, just one severe thunderstorm warning that's left. There's another one back in southwestern Virginia. Again, all of this with the upper low. Also dealing with some thunderstorms and some severe weather right now in the Cleveland area. Seeing some severe thunderstorm warnings going up there. Then we've got this batch that's down in southeast Texas with some severe thunderstorm and flash flood warnings that are up. And that's going to be a problem across the across the Gulf states when I show you the WPC precip map. And then out in the west with the upper low, you're getting areas of precip through New Mexico, some strong thunderstorms in southeast New Mexico and into West Texas, where there's a tornado watch up. There's looks like some heavy rain now moving just south of Las Vegas. Little batch there that's coming down, a little flash flood warning that went up there on the Arizona side. It's moving southward. So the echoes here in uh, Utah and down into Arizona are all moving north to south. And then you go into New Mexico and into Colorado and up into eastern Wyoming, and they're moving from south to north. The Storm Prediction Center tonight has a enhanced risk in West Texas. slight risk that extends to the Texas coast. In Florida, on the east coast of Florida, we have a marginal to slight risk that is up. And we've got a marginal to slight risk from eastern North Carolina through much of Virginia into Maryland, also up into Delaware. The marginal risk goes into central Pennsylvania, the slight risk into western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, and into West Virginia, and a small area of marginal risk also in western North Dakota and South Dakota. The tornado risks 2 to 5% across Texas, back into southeast New Mexico, 2% in coastal Florida, 2% from Maryland down to North Carolina, and 2% from western Pennsylvania into eastern Ohio. Now, tomorrow, a marginal risk which has been expanded a little bit into northeast and north central Pennsylvania. Actually, even goes further south into Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, just about New York City, the Hudson Valley west of the Hudson, the Catskills in southern New York. Then you got the marginal, it's a slight risk across much of Texas into Louisiana. Rain is probably going to be the bigger deal here. And you see the tornado risk is 2 to 5% across the area that's in Texas into Louisiana. Day 3, which is Wednesday. Now, this is where the upper low is going to lift out. And I agree with you that probably Wednesday we'll see less in the way of showers around. I just wonder, though, whether the upper low might, that there might be some scattered thunderstorms in there on Wednesday, and that they might add a small area of marginal risk when we get there. But Wednesday's a calmer day overall everywhere else. You got a small area of marginal risk in South Texas and in Southeast Texas. But I'm thinking it's going to be scattered stuff on Wednesday, but I wouldn't be shocked if there's a stronger thunderstorm forms when the upper trough finally pulls out.
Well, you might be right. If, for example, we have a few residual showers early on Wednesday, and then things start to improve midday and afternoon, and the sun actually comes out for a while on Wednesday afternoon, that could, in terms of bubbling up the atmosphere and causing a bit of instability, that could lead to a few pop-up showers and storms and a little bit of a setback later in the day on Wednesday. So, in which case, it might be better on Wednesday to simply broad brush and say variable cloudiness with a chance for scattered showers and maybe a thunderstorm, as opposed to trying to actually line up or time out things, showers in the morning, clearing in the afternoon. We're still going to see a chance of some kind of precipitation on Wednesday, be it in the morning or maybe again later in the day. And then Thursday is the day when much of the day I think will be dry, although as that onshore setup begins to take hold later on Thursday, here comes more clouds, more rain, and that plunges us into the gloom and doom of not Joe Giaffi, the gloom and doom of a dreary Friday, complete with breezy, cool weather and on and off rain and showers.
Right. Be the curse of the onshore flow.
Yes.
WPC's got an inch and a half. Now, this goes, by the way, through next Monday. So this will include Friday and Saturday. So an inch and a half to 2 inches in total from northernmost New Jersey through the Hudson Valley, east through southern and central New England, pushing up into Maine. Big rains, 5 to 7 inches or more for Louisiana and Mississippi, central and southern Mississippi. In fact, all of the Gulf Coast, the Gulf states, from East Texas to Georgia and North Florida, in an area of up to several inches in some places or more. Also hugging the southeast coast of the U.S., we've got some heavier rains there. Some heavy precip indicated. Now look, because of some of the stuff going on with the upper low in Colorado, they've got 2 to 3 inches of liquid being indicated in a strip there that runs right along or just west of I-25. Doesn't rain very often in Colorado.
Yeah. Well, I love how they draw the boundary areas or the isohyets, is how we make reference to the contours for precipitation. and I love how they so fine tune it to such a degree where they're actually able to, draw such a skinny line. Um, and you said, Joe, it's like right along I-25.
Yeah.
Again, not broad brushing the whole thing, but just trying to be as precise as possible there. So
Well,
anyway, let's see.
here's the upper air on the European. By the way, I don't know if I don't you may not have seen this. I saw this morning. Ryan Mao put it up on his Twitter feed. They score the GFS and the European models to see, how they're doing. And the GFS scoring uh, was horrible, Joe. The GFS has gotten really bad. Okay. And I'll just point to late last week where it just never even showed any sign of this omega block until it was inside 60 hours, where the European and the Canadian and the Icon were all showing this omega block developing, and the GFS was in, sort of this la la land where it just had an open trough that was going to come through Friday night and Saturday, and it was going to be mostly sunny for Sunday and Monday and Tuesday of this week. And obviously, this is, and I've noticed that in the last couple of months, in particular, the GFS has gotten really off. So I'm kind of sticking with the European until proven otherwise. But you can see what happens here with the Omega block. The upper low that's in Ohio finally starts to lift out to the northeast tomorrow, though slowly. And then you still have the upper low intact on Wednesday as it moves across upstate, up New York State and into New England. So this is why I'm thinking that there might be some scattered thunderstorms because there's still some definition with this. And then we get into a northwest flow, and of course the western upper low opens up and then starts to move eastward, and another trough and cutoff drop down on Friday. Look at that. Another short wave coming down in Canada stretches down through the Great Lakes and cuts off a low in western Pennsylvania that drops down and then gradually moves over New Jersey and New York and Long Island on Saturday. So yeah, this is going to be the curse of the onshore flow and rain that we're probably going to get with a developing coastal low. The southern part of that trough drops down into the Gulf Coast, which is why they're going to get heavy rain with that. But once that pulls out, we got a pretty solid northwest flow that takes over Sunday and into the first part of next week. So there will be some nice weather coming after the Friday into early Saturday system gets out of the way, and that'll set up for at least a couple of nice days a week from now. You'll just have to be patient until we get there.
Absolutely. And north, and you see how that upper low for this coming weekend for Saturday, as it moves off to the north and east, we almost immediately get into that northwesterly flow in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Once that teleconnects with the winds here at the surface and provides that northwesterly flow, that's going to scour out all of the cloud cover, all of the moisture, and set the stage for, again, a much drier and a much nicer weather pattern for Mother's Day Sunday and for the early part of next week.
So here we go with today. Of course, now we see the stuff that's to our south starts to lift northward. Uh, you get some calm, but then there's more showery rains around tomorrow. Hard to pinpoint the timing of this. Not every model has the rain in the same place, but just prepare yourself for a day much like today, I guess. And you see what's also happening in the south across Texas and into Oklahoma and Louisiana with some big thunderstorms and heavy rains that start to move eastward. Now, finally, on Wednesday, there's still patches here going on. Of course, again, the upper trough's got to get out of the way, and it should do so later in the day. And then we squeeze in a decent day on Thursday. But again, that western upper low moves through the Gulf states, and you see a surface low and the new trough that cuts off. You see that surface low there in western North Carolina. And then, of course, the onshore flow starts during Thursday night, continues on Friday into Friday night. And then on Saturday, Saturday morning, there's a low at Cape Cod with rain back to about northern New Jersey and northeastern Pennsylvania. Then it starts to pull out. So maybe there might be some leftover rain early on Saturday, but once that low pulls away, it should dry out nicely for Sunday and for Monday. And then here comes, there's something off the southeast coast that moves up and doesn't, looks like it moves up, only gets so far north, it gets shunted out. So, this wet pattern that we have this week looks like it'll break down to some degree as we go into next week. And by the way, I do want to show you this because it was pointed out to me this afternoon. Yes, it begins as we go out in the long range on the GFS and go way out. I'm surprised I didn't see anything on social media about it. But there we have a hurricane coming out of the Caribbean and moving east, just east of the Florida East Coast. That's a Cat 1 hurricane. So the first imaginary hurricane of the season, Joe, just like in the wintertime, has appeared on the models. Today is May the 5th. So if it'll be just like the wintertime. If you add up, as Tony Gigi did, added up all the snowfalls that the models had, we should have gotten like 150 inches, and some places barely got 10. So there you have it. So now we're going to be playing the models hurricane game, or at least the GFS will be playing the hurricane game. I don't think the European is going to be playing the same game.
The fact of the matter is that, and this was brought up by our friend Rich Von Olin. I don't know if you got that email over the weekend, Joe, but he's pointing out that the region of the tropical Atlantic, as compared to last year, is much cooler. The waters of the tropical Atlantic are much cooler now as opposed to what they were at this time last year. And he was threw out the question to all of the weather legends, as we are wont to call them. Does this mean that we're going to have a less active hurricane season because of that cooler weather? Cooler ocean water out there. And my thoughts were, my God, it's late. This is based upon late April, early May. Those waters can heat up very, very quickly once you get into.
Or they could cool off even more.
Well, I know that the official forecast for this season from Colorado State University is for an above normal hurricane season. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear and we'll see what happens. But, one thing to throw into the mix is, again, the fact that the waters are not anywhere near as warm in the tropical Atlantic now as they were, comparatively speaking, 1 year ago. And maybe that'll hold the activity down somewhat, maybe.
Did you do a Weather Legends last week?
No, we did not.
I didn't think so. Okay. We're probably going to do one this week. We'll wait for, La Von Olin to message us and let us know when we need to appear. For those of you who haven't caught Weather Legends, go to the Weather Legends YouTube channel. We've already done a number of shows there if you haven't seen them. And yes, Harold Olson, only 6% of the population watches TV weather anymore. So that's just the way it is. But a sizable amount more watch the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which is on Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m., as you all know. And welcome to those of you who are watching in the background tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. As I said, Sunday through Thursday, normal schedule this week. There's no changes. We're all normal this week. Subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. If you like the show, hit the like button. It's nice to come back from vacation and not being on for 7 days and getting liked, and we do appreciate that. So, on that particular note, how about some Briller Jeopardy, shall we?
If you have it,
I have it.
Yes, okay.
And I'm going to let you have it. All right, folks, you ready? Vincent Croce, the dog is fine. He came with me on my trip. He goes everywhere I go. His girlfriend Gracie was there, so he had a marvelous time with her. Um, they both came in every morning though at like 6 o'clock to wake me up. It's one thing to have one dog licking your face at 6 o'clock in the morning, but when you have two dogs doing it, it's anyway. Here we go. The we're doing extreme weather in May for New York City. Extreme weather in May. The highest temperature in May in New York City, Central Park.
Now, does this have anything to do with that story that you sometimes tell about the temperature? The high temperature was predicted to be 80, and then it went to 85 and 90, and then
No,
finally when it
actually, Joe, this started with 65 to 70. Okay.
okay,
And then it went to 70 to 75, and then 75 to 80, and on it
right,
goes. Yes, it's that May. It's that date.
okay. Well, I think it was
Um,
90. I think 99 is the highest temperature ever recorded in the month of May at Central Park.
99, yes, but unofficially it actually got to 101. Okay.
Right, because there was
And
a
the
threat.
forecaster threatened to kill to kill the observer if he did. You know, it's like Ralph and Norton, put down Nash,
Put down
right?
that.
Put down 99. Put down 99. Um, the lowest temperature.
I'm going to say 32.
Okay, there's a problem with what I don't know if you noticed this, but we noticed when I sent you the link today to the show to post.
It was
Okay,
like
it was
this.
oblong, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? I'm going to stop this right now because I'm noticing that the answers are cut off. All I'm getting is the year for the question and not the number. Okay, so and that I think has to do with the fact that whatever's going on with Messenger, that everything is coming in where it's cutting off some of the stuff. So I don't know if Scott's watching this, but it's not your fault. This I noticed this today. There's something wrong with Messenger, so I'm not seeing the whole message. So we'll hold this for tomorrow. Okay. Oh,
Okay.
close it. Wait, Christinapedia said close it and reopen it. Let's
Maybe
see.
maybe it's Mrs. Manicotti's fault.
Um, no, the problem's the same. Let me see if I can open it a different way. Hold on a second. Um, hmm. No, they're all cut off. Even I just opened it widescreen, Joe. It's all the same. So there must be a Facebook issue of some sort that's going on. The only other thing I can do is hold on. Let me see if the same problem is going on my phone. Let me get my phone here. Just hold on a second.
I agree with William Huber. He says just hit it with a hammer.
And throw it out the window. Let's see if I can do it off. See if it comes up off the phone. La 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 la. Oh, okay. On the phone, it's fine. Actually, let me put it here on my little phone charger stand. Okay, so the second question, so 99, that was in 1962, by the way. So the second question, the lowest May, Joe, what was the number you gave?
32.
32 is the correct answer, and a number of you, like Harold Olson, said 32. Um, Brandon Doherty, thank you for hitting Super Chat tonight. Most appreciated. Glad to be back. And Rich Rothmansky said 32. The answer is 32, so you can ring the bell for yourself.
I'll ring it for 99 and for 32. There you go.
Okay. And that was in 1891.
Wow.
The coldest daytime high.
The coldest daytime high. All right. Well,
And I'll tell you it happened on the same day that it hit 32.
yeah, I would suspect that that was the case. How about 47?
That's actually a little too high. Frank R said 42. That's very close. Mike Waterhouse Bonsai said 44. That's very close. Um, and Mr. Croce said 44, which is very close. So David Fuller, Chuck Cardillo, William Uber, 43, and Carol DeCaro, and Grady uh, Brady G 111, 43, and Latex Dreams 43. So the answer is 43. And what was the record low? I'm sorry. What was the record for the most 90-degree days? The most 90-degree days. It happened in 1991 in the month of May.
Well, I will tell you that 1991 is tied with 1993 for the most 90-degree days in a year, 39. So let's see what possibly could be the number. I'll I'll say I'll take a wild guess. Say 5.
Vincent Croce said 5. Frank R said 5. Tyler Fienga said 5. And the answer is, and Mike Waterhouse Bonsai said 5. And the answer is 5.
There you go. Well, you need that
Another,
many. If you're gonna get 39 90-degree days in a single year or in a single summer, you need to have a good launching pad, and that number 5 for May pretty well starts it off for you.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I think that kind of covers it. There's not much else going on. Your hair looks good today, by the way, I must tell you.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, my stars. If an interesting monster can't have an
Yes.
interesting hairdo,
Hairdo. Exactly. Exactly.
let me just
All right.
answer a question that Tom Contino asked early on in the show. Why don't I get somebody to do my lawn for me? So here it's a matter of economics, Tom. We did look into this. We priced things out. To get a guy to come or several people to come and do my lawn, we did, and I do it once a week. It would cost approximately $125. So I'm going to shell out $125 a week for somebody to do this. The tractor mower costs about, well, including the rebate, around 2,300. So the tractor lawnmower pays for itself in just 1 year. If I am not going to be paying out somebody to do my lawn and shelling out $100 or $125 a week to have that done when I could do it myself on my own lawnmower. It's only a couple of hours out of my day. Although, Joe, I will point out that the tractor mower that I am replacing, there's a little window on the front, not really a dashboard, but a window showing how many hours I've been on that machine. 735 hours I'll never get back over
Yeah.
22 years. But it's interesting. As many of you or some of you know, in semi-retirement, I do a lot of articles for a lot of different publications online and, space.com and Natural History Magazine or whatever. And a lot of my ideas come to me while I'm on that machine going round and round and round on my lawn, my front lawn and my back lawn. So there is some use to sitting on the tractor and just going round and round. You know, everything is happening. What did Tennessee Ernie Ford say in that one episode, Joe, when they were all locked up? I'm a playing on the outside, but I'm a thinking on
Thinking
the
on
inside.
the inside. Everybody does, everybody pays for things that they don't want to do. Okay. And everybody does things that they don't want to have to pay somebody. So you choose to cut your grass and not pay for somebody to do it. I just, I myself, I used to do it myself, but then I developed an allergy to grass. where if I was cutting it for too long, I'd be cutting it and then I would start wheezing. So I had to wind up having to get somebody to do it. But we all do that. Some people like to paint. I despise painting. I'd rather pay somebody to
The executive producer, my executive producer, refuses to allow me to pay somebody to do what I could do myself. And as long as I'm in the proper physical condition to be able to do this,
as
because
long as you have a pulse.
yeah, as long I mean I
All
could
right.
do it, and it's a two-part deal actually. First I'm on the tractor, and then after I finish the tractor, to get into the nooks and crannies or the edging part of the lawn, I take out a smaller lawnmower and I go up and down by hand doing that. So uh, again, it's and it's invigorating. It's nice when you can do it on a day with sunshine and dry conditions and low humidity. But there have been many a time I've been out there, Joe, with the heat, the humidity, or sometimes in gusty cold winds. Then it's not fun. But still, it does save money. I figured, well, let's see, 100. I'm on that. Let's say 26 weeks, and multiply that by 125. That comes out to $3,250. Um, if it pays for itself. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean,
If
there's
you want to,
nothing wrong with
Tom,
it.
if
If
you
you
want to,
if you look, if you
if you
like
want
doing it, I'm sure if you hated doing it and you had to pay for somebody to do it, you'd pay somebody to do it.
and my wife also. You think I would notice this? She's never been on that mower. She's never taken a single trip around the lawn on that mower. I've done all the mowing on that tractor, and as we're getting the new mower, we put it in an order for it today. She says it doesn't have. There's a piece of plastic, because I mulch, and she says
Right,
there's no plastic on the new mower. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, didn't you ever notice that there's a piece of plastic on the deck? This is the deck. When I talk about the deck, I talk about where the blades are. And there's a piece of plastic, and when you mulch, the plastic prevents the grass from being shot out from
right.
one side of the mower. And I didn't even notice that the new mower that we're just for doesn't have that. I said, so now what are we going to do? Do I buy the mower? He said, no, we can get a piece of, and John Deere, it's a John Deere mower, for measly $39. You could get a piece of plastic and attach it to your new mower. And I asked the person at the desk, I said, how come they don't have the piece of plastic? She says, well, that was then, this is now.
Right.
You
I'm
used to
surprised.
get it 20
I'm
years ago.
surprised.
Now you
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
20 years ago, it came complete with everything you needed. Now, when you buy these things, oh, you want the thing that prevents the grass from going out from underneath when you mulch. Oh, that's a $39. Oh, you want the bag too? Oh, that you got to buy. All these extras now that you have to buy. Whereas 20 years ago or 25 years ago, it all automatically came with the mower, with the
If
tractor.
you had a sense of romance, you could have seen if you could have gotten this with the tractor, if you could have gotten it with a sidecar, so that
Yeah.
so she could ride.
Well, I did take my grandson last week. There was a nice sunny day last week, so I rolled out the tractor mower and I held on to my grandson, started it up, and we went for a ride all the way around, the lawn and up and down the driveway or whatever like that. And we stopped and I said, "What did you think about that?" And he just like looked at me like,
You know. Oh, too funny. All right, time to go. I'm tired. I'm gonna just go to bed. It's almost 8:30, so almost bedtime. So I
"Yep,
hope everybody had a good enjoyed the show tonight. Uh, I'm well rested, and we will be back tomorrow night at the same time, 7:35 p.m. We're all back to normal. So have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
bye, folks."